This episode is brought to you by pastasworld.com, where you can find jigsaw puzzles, coffee and tea mugs, canvas and poster prints, iPhone cases, and more. You can even order custom items with your own pictures. Go to pastasworld.com or the Pastas World shop on Etsy to learn more.
You're listening to I Love This TV Show, The Golden Girls.
Hi, and welcome to the I Love This TV Show podcast. I'm your host, Noelle from pastasworld.com. Each season of this podcast will contain a TV show in full. This means the length of the season depends on the length of the TV show. The first season is, of course, The Golden Girls. The Golden Girls, Season 1, Episode 17, Nice and Easy. Sophia is painting her nails in the living room. Blanche is horrified. Her niece Lucy is going to be there any minute. She's excited to see her niece. She wants her to get into a school there so that they can see each other more often. Dorothy comes running out of the kitchen, screaming about a rat in there. Rose follows her and says, "It wasn't a rat, it was a cute little mouse." Dorothy, "Rose, it doesn't wear white gloves and work at Disneyland. We are talking about a rodent." Rose won't let Blanche call an exterminator. Instead, she tells them a story about Larry the mouse who saved her life. He would walk to school with her, and one day he wouldn't go across the bridge. She heard a loud noise, and the dam upstream broke, and all the water washed the bridge out. Everyone says in unison, "Call the exterminator." They are interrupted with the doorbell ringing. Lucy has arrived. Blanche is overjoyed. Lucy tells them about a doctor she met on the plane. She tells Blanche she's supposed to meet him in half an hour. Blanche lets her go because her mother wouldn't. Lucy, "Aunt Blanche, wasn't it you who said, if you've got a stallion eaten out of your hand, best close the gate before you give him the sugar?" It's another day, and Dorothy comes in the kitchen, complaining that the rat ran across her dresser. Rose corrects her and tells her it's a mouse. Dorothy calls the exterminator, but Rose stops her. She says she'll talk to the mouse. Blanche comes into the kitchen as well. She's worried about Lucy because she didn't come home last night. Lucy picks that moment to enter the kitchen. She tells Blanche she's in love. She was taken on a midnight cruise by her doctor. Blanche takes it lightly, but Rose is a bit shocked. Sophia comes in, and Rose asks her opinion. Later, out on the lanai, Sophia and Dorothy are playing checkers. Lucy comes out on the lanai and asks them if they know where Blanche is. She tells them she won't be home for dinner. She's going out with Michael. No, he's not the doctor. He's the person who interviewed her at the college. Blanche comes out, and Lucy tells her she's going to be gone the next 2 nights. After she leaves, Blanche is excited about her going to college and dating a doctor. Dorothy has to inform her she's not going to the Bahamas with the doctor. It's the college interviewer she met today. Dorothy, Blanche, this trip to the Bahamas is not with the doctor." Blanche, "What do you mean?" Sophia, "Girl's a slut." Dorothy, "That's not what I mean exactly." Dorothy insists Blanche talk to her. Blanche agrees. She is just not sure what to say. Sophia then tells a story about her town slut back in Sicily. The other women in town got so frustrated they dragged her to the edge of town to have it out with her. Turns out she was just trying to pass the time because she was that bored. That night, Blanche falls asleep on the couch and is awoken when Lucy comes home. Blanche asks her to say goodnight to her friend and come to the kitchen to talk. Her gentleman friend introduces himself as being a police officer. Blanche, however, starts asking a bunch of questions because she is very confused with Lucy. Blanche actually grounds her for the rest of her stay, not that Lucy listens. Blanche, "Oh, I thought he was with the university." "No, actually, before you left last night, I thought he was the doctor from the plane." Then Dorothy explained to me that he was the university interviewer. Lucy. No, that was Michael, the guy I flew to the Bahamas with. I just met Ed at the airport. He arrested Michael for transporting marijuana from the islands. Boy, you think you know somebody. Blanche. I see. Well, Ed picking up Michael was Ed doing his job. You picking up Ed is something the two of us have to discuss. However, Lucy is not in the mood, and she leaves with Ed as Blanche calls out after her from the door. Blanche discusses in the kitchen with Dorothy and Rose just what happened, and they all start sharing stories about being rebellious at that age. Rose shocks the ladies by telling them she snuck out of the house and stole her dad's truck to drive to a bar a city over to meet a man. Dorothy is surprised, but she has to know what happened when she got to the bar, and Blanche wants to know too. She got out of the truck, pardon me, and as she was walking up to the door, she ran into the Reverend. He happened to be with a woman that was not his wife, but someone else's wife. She says that she and the Reverend made a deal to keep each other's secrets. And he did keep her secret until he died just 2 days later. The husband of the woman he was with shot them both. Blanche is extremely annoyed and starts yelling at Rose. Rose asks her what she did that was so rebellious. Blanche rattles off a very long list. Rose is shocked and asks how she survived all that. She responds her big sister was always chasing after her. And Dorothy tells Blanche that maybe that's what she needs to be for Lucy right now. So the three ladies leave the kitchen to head to Ed's apartment, but Dorothy screams about the mouse again before they exit. In Ed's apartment, he's telling Lucy all about Miami Vice. He's pretty obsessed. He's shocked she's never seen the show. Blanche, Dorothy, and Rose arrive at his apartment. Blanche requests to speak privately with Lucy. Rose compliments his apartment, saying it looks like it's right out of Miami Vice. In the bedroom, Blanche and Lucy have a talk. Blanche tells her that men aren't finding her attractive, just available, and that it's not a compliment. Lucy, however, is not buying it. She's familiar with Blanche's lifestyle. But Blanche makes it very clear that if she's with a man, it's because she likes him, not because she wants him to like her. Lucy asks her to remember what she looked like as a kid and how horrible she looked. She always wanted to be like her Aunt Blanche. Blanche realizes what's going on and comforts her. Blanche, honey, you've been trying so hard to get everybody to like you that you never got around to liking yourself. And if you don't like yourself, then you can't respect yourself. And if you can't respect yourself, neither can anyone else. Back out in the living room, Ed is giving Rose a Miami Vice trivia quiz. Blanche and Lucy come out, and everyone heads to the door to go back home. Back at the house, the mouse is walking around the kitchen, and I think this is the next morning. Dorothy traps him and starts having a conversation with him. She tells him she's going to kill him. Then she confesses that she hasn't killed another living being, with bugs being the only exception. Rose overhears enough of the conversation to exclaim, "You have the gift," as she asks the mouse to leave the way he came, and he does. Dorothy tries to cover it up, and Blanche enters to tell them Lucy is getting ready to leave and come say goodbye. So everyone heads out to the living room to see Lucy off. Lucy thanks them all for the last few days and how much it meant. After she leaves, Rose asks Blanche what she actually told her. She tells them a little bit of it. Blanche, I told her a lot of things. I told her she was a bright, funny, charming young lady who didn't have to rely upon sex to be liked. I think the thing that turned her around was when I told her that when it comes to men, I'm just a lot of talk. Embellishments, one of the oldest traditions in the South. Tall tales and tall drinks. I don't really sleep around as much as I say I do. Rose, is that true, Blanche? Blanche, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'll be right back after a short break. Favorite quotes. Blanche. All right, you all please. No more rat talk. Dorothy. At 30,000 feet, she picks up a doctor. Now I see the resemblance. Dorothy. Rose, do you have any idea how weird you are? Dorothy. This is the second man she has gone away with, and she only got here yesterday. Blanche. Ed picking up Michael was doing his job. You picking up Ed is something we need to talk about. Dorothy. Rose, are you telling a story or performing Our Town? Rose. This mouse is an odd duck. Dorothy. Rose, how many head wounds have you had? Dorothy. Ed, for a policeman, you've led a very sheltered life. Dorothy. I don't believe this. I'm talking to a mouse. The scary part is, I think you're listening. Rose. Don't be silly. You couldn't even kill a little mouse. Dorothy. We enjoyed having you. Sophia. So did half of Miami. Dorothy. Ma? Well, this episode was definitely something. Her niece Lucy, Blanche's niece Lucy, being rather loose, and their concern as to how to help her. And then there's also Rose's connection with animals and Larry the mouse, and how animals can sense bad things are going to happen before we can. The science is yet to prove why animals can do this, but I know that I've had dogs that start acting weird a day or two before an earthquake happens, and like clockwork every time. I can go back 2 days, one day, my dog's been super, super weird, and we have an earthquake. They just maybe have a sixth sense, maybe because they come from nature, they get a little better connection to nature than we do. Now, Lucy is Lucy, and I'm quite happy Lucy saw the light at the end. Blanche's shock was actually the funniest aspect of that storyline to me, because she's the last person you think would actually be shocked about someone basically being loose, because that's how she portrays herself. Or promiscuous, or just extra sexually active, whichever phrase you prefer. But yeah, I do really love the fact that Blanche stepped up as a human being and as an aunt in this episode, and really chose to help her niece get back on the right path, and help her also learn how to like herself and respect herself, because those are really important things. I had a friend in high school who was very much like Lucy, and it was month after month of, I'm late, what do I do? And at least that wasn't a situation that Lucy was in. But I understand what it is like to be the friend of a person who is like Lucy, and always being stuck in that position where you're the one that they go to for help. And yes, I mean, I'm no longer friends with that person. Sometimes you just can only be used so much before you hit your limit. And I wish her the best and everything in her life, but I don't ever want her to be in my life again. And I am very grateful that Blanche did not have to do something like that with Lucy, because Lucy is still young. Lucy can still get back on the path that she wants to be on, so that she can like and respect herself. And it was really, really good that they all really even went to Ed's apartment to get her and bring her back. They didn't just make Blanche go by herself. They functioned as a family unit. Now, I don't believe Sophia went with them, but the fact that the three ladies all went together, that was pretty good, because most of the time, at least I think up to this point, we've seen the ladies doing their separate things and just coming together in the house. I think this is the first time we've actually seen them go anywhere together, working as a team type thing. And I really, really enjoyed it. This episode is always one that I look forward to seeing, just because how the girls react and how Blanche puts everything aside for once, when normally she's always just about herself, and really truly stepped up to help Lucy.
It's been great reliving this episode with you. Please check out the podcast website, anchor.fm/I love this TV show, no spaces. You'll be able to see the show notes and also support this podcast. To check out everything I'm up to and nerding about, head over to pastasworld.com. You'll also find additional content there. Thanks for listening, and stay golden.